Hey guys, CG here. Today we're going to be fixing a desk that has decided to self-destruct. We're going to be using the super glue and bi-carb soda method. We're also going to be touching on different screw types. I'm going to show you how to mark out hole centers and bracket placement, and also going to be painting the desk. So let's get to it, hey, and see how we go. As you can see, one whole side of the desk has completely broken off and come away from the rest of the piece of furniture. I'm really interested in knowing how effective this bicarbonate of soda and glue technique really is. The movies I've seen online show it to be better than most general purpose two-part glues and is nearly equivalent to specialized industrial grade adhesives. Is it really as strong and as sturdy as the videos have portrayed online? The main thing I'm trying to achieve here today is to get the furniture up and running again, and it is not on the actual aesthetics, and even though visuals are quite important, it is not my main focus today, especially because a lot of locations are going to be hidden when the desk is sitting upright. So keep watching, and while I'm learning, you can learn too, because I've never done this before. So let's learn together. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more cool videos like this one. Okay, as you can see here, I'm trying to fit the corner, so I'm giving it a little bit of a tap with a hammer. It is best to put some super glue on the two contact points before joining the pieces together. So with the super glue and bicarb soda method, I'm just layering it on, starting with the super glue first and then the bicarb soda, then blow off any excess bicarb, then super glue on top of that again, and then bicarb soda, then brush or blow off excess. Repeat the process until you can see you have built up the repair enough to sand it down evenly to look nice and neat. Do the same for any chips, indents and voids that need to be repaired also. You can even fill in screw holes which can be re-drilled later. I used about 10 tubes of super glue and went through about 3/4 of a box of bicarb. I picked up excess bicarb off of the ground where I was working when I found there was excess from blowing it onto the ground at certain times, so I would reuse it on the repair. Also, if you have any clamps laying around, you can clamp the initial broken pieces together. This is just to help secure the pieces so that it doesn't fall apart. When confronted with a broken piece of furniture like this one, I would consider my options, and that would be the most practical way to rectify the situation. The first option would be to throw it straight into the rubbish bin, but some of us can't afford to buy new furniture whenever we feel like, or if you are like me, I can't even afford to buy shoes. Sometimes it's handy to be able to revive some things, and I quite like this desk, and I didn't really want to have to replace it. But on that note, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to see how good this famous bicarb and superglue method actually is. Another way you could fix this desk is just get a new piece of laminated board, preferably the same colour, and cut it down to the size of the broken piece and rejoin it with some screws, dowel, PVA or wood glue, some brackets and clamps or weights to join it and hold it together. The other way that you could fix it is to take the broken piece of furniture down to your local cabinet maker and get them to fix it. That is dependent on where you live though, because some of us live out in the sticks or out in whoop whoop and don't have cabinet makers ready to rock and roll whenever we like. You can see I'm wearing disposable gloves, and that is because I hate my fingers being stuck together. Take note, the actual glues that they use in particle board and chipboard are extremely toxic, so make sure that when you're doing any type of woodwork or work like this that you are wearing the correct PPE or personal protective equipment, which consists of dust masks, eye protection, ear protection, gloves, and of course, enclosed footwear. It is most practical performing this type of work in a workshop type environment, but I do not have that option. I was concerned that the furniture would be damaged even more, so fixing it in situ was the best option for me. I'm going to give it a sand anyways, and then on top of that, I'm going to try some other hand tools that other people may have on hand, opposed to just seeing how power tools perform. I'm going to give a chisel a go. I'm also going to try a wood plane. I don't know how the wood plane will go because you don't plane laminated surfaces normally. However, they are good for creating a flat level surface and to shave off any protruding sections evenly. So if you take a look here, it's not too bad. It's attached at least. I need to build up a bit more of the lower spots with super glue and bicarb, and then we're looking good to sand. So here we go with the sanding. It actually sanded quite easily. Very easily actually. The grit was quite coarse that I had on my multi. Now I'm just checking to see if it's square. Checking if my 90-degree angles are not too bad. And yeah, they're looking pretty good. Then we're just going to give it a quick little brush off. Then I'm just going to build up any last little low-lying points that I could see when I gave it a sand before, ready so I can have a go on the wood chisel. Here we go with the wood chisel. I was surprised with how effective and easily it was with the chisel. Obviously the chisel has to be sharp, and it works very well, surprisingly well actually. You need to make sure that your wood chisel is a nice width. You don't want it too narrow, otherwise it just won't be very effective. Here we go with the wood plane. I just need to adjust the blade, it's just slightly poking out. And believe it or not, planing down the super glue and the bicarb mixture was actually super easy also. It worked well, a lot better than what I thought it would have. So all three methods were very easy at taking down the excess mixture. So now I'm getting off any previous glue and roughing it up so the surface is easy to paint and glue. Here I don't think the actual manufacturer's connection points held up. Anything like this, I glue together. A lot of these types out of the box or flat pack style types of furniture I've ever seen, any of them give you instructions to glue the joints together. I suggest that if you are assembling a piece of furniture like this, and only if you don't plan on pulling it apart for any type of reason, for example, moving house or selling the actual furniture itself, then you should glue it to give it that extra strength that it needs. So now, quick rundown on pilot holes and screw types. Drilling a pilot hole is a useful method of not splitting your timber. That's for any type of timber, and for steel, it's a good way to not snap off your screw in the steel. Okie dokie guys, this is just going to be a quick little rundown. So I'm just going to show you how you should normally mark out hole centers or cleat centers. I like to call it split the diff, and you should probably go 600, which would mean 300 in the middle. So you split the diff, 300 in the middle. Come in and you go, what's in between 300? You'll go 150, and then at 150, you'll go center of this, which is 40. Then you do the same over here. This is just a quick rundown. It's not in the written rule book, but it's just if you don't have any instructions, it's probably something that you should run by. That's just nice and even, looks nice, looks neat. You don't have to use every single one of these holes in here, but I'm probably going to use, depending on how many screws I've got, and I'll give you a quick rundown on screws, what they do, how they work, which ones you should use and why. Hey guys, how's it going? Just going to give you a quick rundown on how screws work. So that's a 2mm standard drill bit. It's nothing spectacular. It's not high tensile, it's not made just for timber, and it's not made just for steel. I wanted to show you as well, just a little point, little tip. When you buy your screws, keep them like this, otherwise they end up like this. So if you have a look, I can tell you which one I prefer to shuffle through when I have to look for screws. So this is a perfect example. It happens, everyone does it, they're in a rush, they get a big job, they get leftovers, they throw them in. So if you have a look at the tips of these screws, all different purposes, I don't know if you can notice them, but they all for the same type of material to screw in. They're a self-tapping steel screw. Can't really go through anything real thick, otherwise you'll need a pilot hole. Pilot holes in thick steel are hard, you need correct drill bit for it, but you can do it with a standard drill bit like this. You just gotta go slow, don't apply too much pressure or you'll snap it. This one's brand new, it's the last of the packet, but yeah, when you buy these, buy them like 10, 20 pack of, but I'll just keep telling you quickly, for a countersunk head, depending on what you're screwing into steel, you'll have to countersink that hole because obviously that will sit out protruding because see how it tapers out. However, if you look at this one, you won't have to countersink it because it's a cap, it's a dome shape. See, it's got the flat bit, so once it's actually screwed in, it's good to go. And obviously one's the most common one in Australia for screwing into steel, it's a Tech screw. So Tech screws can differ in size. We're not really using Tech screws today. We will be using countersunk and button heads, but not of the steel type. So I just thought I'd give you that quick rundown, quick refresher. Once again, that tip, that means it's a self-tapping steel screw. You can get away without a pilot hole with reasonably thin steel, screwed into quite thick stuff, but I don't recommend it because you'll snap them and then you'll have to get another one. If you snap it off in there, then it's a headache. This is a little beauty, self-tapping steel screw, just nice little tidy screw, does its job. Screw's very shallow, so if you don't want to hit something on the other side, or you don't want to pop through the other side when you're working with thin tin and whatnot, very good screw. However, it's a Phillips head. Phillips heads don't self-tap very well, so something in that sort of instance, I would strongly suggest pilot hole. Pilot hole, pilot hole, pilot hole. You can never pilot hole too much. So what you'll normally find is with steel that is thicker than 5mm plus, normally they don't screw together, they're bolted together. There will be holes that are drilled through for the bolt, and then there'll be a nut and bolt connection point, opposed to using a screw, which is better designed for tin to galvanize. Quite handy and effective when doing fencing or a garden shed or patio. But anything more heavy duty will require a bolt up. See, this one here is for a batten screw. These are quite an effective timber screw. Self-tapping timber screw. So see how it's got that little notch just there? That means that you can get away with some timbers, depending on the situation and what you're doing, that you can get away without needing the pilot hole. We're working with chipboard or particle board. You need to screw pilot holes. Quite a nice type of screw. See, it's got very fine thread, just a good quality screw. Not self-tapping, but still good screw. This here, this is one of my favorites. It's got a square head. These are used for decking, self-tapping. If you're not sure, get a tape measure, get a little ruler. Make sure that you always cater. Give yourself at least 2 mil of distance. You don't want to pop through the tops. Okay guys, so here we are. We found enough screws to get us going. Don't need to use every single one of these holes. The reason that you have more holes is holes can't be always drilled in. They can be crossed over. They might hit another screw on another gusset depending on what you're doing, if it's fencing or building some sort of patio or structure or something of that nature. So it just gives you more options. It's a little bit thicker, this stuff. You're allowed to drill them in situ. Mark your drill bit. Mark your pilot hole drill bit if you're not confident on the depth that you're going to go. But virtually all you need to do is break this instance. So there, and then I'll go, okay guys, so I'm just using these little square head screws that I found. I'm just guessing, I can just see that the depth's not going to break through. So we'll just lock that in. Done the pilot hole. That's all right, she swung around. I'll do the other one. Situation, drill bits, screws. If it's one of those single non-interchangeable ones, they still can lose their magnetism. And the way that you can get the magnetism back is actually rub it on a very strong magnet. So something like a strong speaker, or what I use is a welder's 90-degree angle magnet. I'll go one there, one there. Doesn't matter if you're going a little bit of an angle of the dangle, as long as she gets in. Snap your drill bit, because it's, yeah, they're very handy, those ones. So same again, boom boom. Might put another one in on the and also change your drill intensity. So here's the gear. Sometimes if it's heavy on the trigger, change your drill torque setting, because yeah, you don't want to go stripping every single hole, otherwise it's just wasting time doing what you're doing. You're making more work, if anything. I just go a bit easy. I go steady. But yeah, it's not a bad idea to just, you know, another safeguard. Usually if you strip one, you'll remember and you go, oh damn, so hear that? It's not going to go any tighter, so it's not going to wreck the screw or the hole that it's going into. So that's why I like to roll the way we roll. Getting ready for doing a little bit of a spray. Took out the boring setting up part. So what I'm doing here is just going around and giving a light little sand where it's a bit rough. That is very rough. I don't know what that is. It looks like a dog or a little small human has tried gnawing on the cabinet. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what had happened. You know, I was just talking about a small human or an animal, possibly a dog, having a gnaw. Have a look at this. I only just noticed this part. Wow. I don't know if I've got enough super glue and baking soda for this one. I might just give it a bit of sand up. Might even put a bit of an edge on it and flash it off with a bit of angle or something. Stumbled across this bit of pine, 90-degree. I think it'll be ideal. I'm going to use this. It'll be a good way of just covering up really cheap things that it's left over. So guys, what we're doing here, just quickly going to nail them on. I thought while I'm at it, I'll add another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 brackets. So where you place them, it's totally up to you. Think about where it could potentially fail. Like try and evenly distribute the stress points. So keep in mind, mainly when someone goes to move a desk or a table, they go to grab under here with their fingers. So if this sort of framework or underneath cabinetry is quite heavy and it's poorly designed, or just sometimes if it's a display unit, and even just over time, these stupid things come undone or they actually break. And other thing also, got to do a job like this, don't forget to tape, because if you go and paint it, yeah, your rolls probably won't work. So she's going to be pretty sturdy, so next time hopefully not going to fall apart. Anyways, here's to hoping. Have a lot better chance than what it did earlier today. I'm horrible at drop sheets. I know something's going to get a bit of paint on it because I'm going to be spraying, but not touched up. That and that. Still got to remove the tape just here like that. It's very important that you don't paint the railings for the drawers. Now that it's been painted, I'm just going to finish up with a few little finishing touches just to tidy it up, just to get it over the finish line. But so far, so good. The bottom of this panel really been bothering me, so I thought I'd hide that with screwing a little bit of plastic to it. I tell you, it turned out to be a bit of a job in the end, but pretty happy with it. About to go in the bin, so now put into action. Of the bicarb soda and super glue is a thumbs up from me. It seemed to work. It dries quickly, which is what I wanted. It sands and chisels and shaves down easily, and it's paintable. So they're three really good factors and why I approved of it. All right guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.